What is going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with AC, Dilly Vanilli, and the one, the only Kevole. We are here to preview and pick the AFC and NFC championship games. It's going to be so much fun to just talk about these games, but I cannot wait for Sunday. Not only are my Patriots playing once again, brag moment right here, 8 conference championship in a row. But I think whoever wins these games, first off, these games are going to be great, but whoever wins these games is going to be a fascinating, awesome lead up and great Super Bowl. So I'm super excited for these 2 games. I think we truly do have the 4 best teams in football, and I think we're all excited to watch this, see how the coaches game plan for this one. And again, it's going to be 2 rematches, so I think these 2 teams, we're really going to see who the best team is in the AFC and NFC championship because these are rematches. So, guys, let's just start it off with your excitement level, like out of 10. How you guys feeling going into this weekend? We'll start off with AC. We'll go down the line. I know AC's team just got eliminated and Dilly's team just got eliminated, so they might not be feeling the same way as some of you guys out there, but I think this is going to be a pretty exciting weekend.
No, you're right. And the matchups are great. I'm not going to take away from that. But it is going from making the Super Bowl or watching my team play a lot to this is like the first playoff week in almost 2.5 years that, since the Super Bowl, it's going to come up on 2 years now. It's not as exciting. I don't really care who wins. I don't really have a stake in it. I'm not really betting football right now anyway, so I'm just going to enjoy the games, but I think they're both going to be great. And just my quick thing, I hope it's 2 of the older quarterbacks and more of the historic quarterbacks in the league, to be honest, if I'm choosing something. So hopefully it's Pat Saints just for that, Breeze, Brady. I think it would be a really good matchup.
Dilly Vanilli, how you feeling, bro?
Yeah, it's a different kind of weekend. Not like last week where I was watching and anticipating my team going at it. But now I get to enjoy, maybe look at it a little bit more, these other games. So that's one positive there. I like all 4 teams. They're, I think, the 4 best teams in the NFL. So we're getting fair matchups. There's no kind of upsets, if you will. It is 1-2, 1-2. So we're going to get some high power offense here, and I'm looking forward to both games. So excitement levels pretty high, I would say.
Out of 10, you at you above a 6 or
above a 6? I'd say we're on the 7-8 column right there. I'd say around there.
Kevole looking spiffy. How do you feel coming in this weekend?
I think this is one of the more fascinating championship weekends that we have seen in a long time because we've got so many narratives going at it here. We've got the new school of Sean McVay and his ways. We've got this theory out there that you have to win when you're on the rookie quarterback salary. Yet the last few Super Bowl winners, 3 of them recently, haven't had that problem. We've got the new school versus the old school. We've got the next one versus the GOAT. There's so many interesting storylines and you've got the Arctic cold in Kansas City that's going to be absolutely fascinating. And you've got 2 rematches, which makes this absolutely, this was on the level of intrigue I'm at an 8, because I think there's a lot that can happen here.
I think it's not only a level of intrigue is high, but I think the potential for great games is also just as high, which makes it that exciting. Yeah. All right, guys. So just before we get into the games, I'm just going to give you the spreads for you people out there. Right now, as of Wednesday night, it is sitting at New Orleans Saints favored by 3.5 at home over the LA Rams, and the Kansas City Chiefs favored by 3 over the New England Patriots. These 2 lines have not changed. They have sat like this since the games, ended in the NFL divisional round, and they're staying the same, I think, up until game time. I'd actually be surprised if we saw any movement on this in terms of the line going up, line going down. I think it's going to be fascinating as well for bettors out there just to see where they're going with these games. But I think these spreads are pretty fair. AC, would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think we talked about it on the recap with the New England game, it's only 3 points because KC's the home team, right? That's kind of, you know what I mean? If that's played in New England maybe could be like a 1 point favorite, or a pick 'em. But because it's in KC, that's kind of the 3 points. So in my opinion, it's still a pick 'em. But I just looked. Still, a lot of the money's going on KC. Not a lot. 58 to 42% is going to KC. And then the other game, I think it's tough because I think the Saints at home are very tough to beat. I actually think it should even be more, and you're actually seeing that because most of the money are on the Saints with that spread. Because Saints are tough to beat at home, so I could see that going up even higher. And then I actually could see by game time, I think you're going to see a lot of people start hammering New England because of New England's the teams talk about how they're underdogs, and I think if you have a team that are saying you're the underdogs and you're the Patriots, I think you're gonna bet with them there.
Okay, let's start off with the earlier game, the NFC Championship. Again, a rematch. Earlier this season, the Saints did beat the Rams. It was in New Orleans, so this is an exact rematch, unlike the AFC Championship, which is played at a different venue. Saints won 45-35 in that game. And for a majority of the game, the Saints dominated. They were up by a pretty big score. The Rams, they sort of came back in the game, made it a little interesting at the end, but the Saints were still able to win that game. Another interesting point to that is that this was during that Saints ridiculous streak where they were just punishing everybody, like they were just beating everybody by a lot. Their offense was in sync. Their defense was starting to get a little bit better, but has got better since then. That's interesting. The Rams have sort of formed into a different team. They've become more of a power running team. They've been less reliant on the pass. Losing Cooper Kupp, I think, has been a big deal. Adding C.J. Anderson, as Kevole will bring up, big deal. So the teams are a little bit different, and I think that's going to be said for both of these games. But how do you guys see it playing out? Who are you picking in this game? Let's start off with Dylan. Who do you like here? Do you like the home team, the Saints, #1 seed, or do you like the upset with the Rams?
I'm going to go with the Saints. I think both of these teams have brought out some really good football as of late, and I really liked both of their games, especially last week. In the divisional round, the Rams, they punished the Cowboys with their run attack, over 230 yards rushing from both Gurley and C.J. Anderson, Kevole's boy. So that's a good start for them. The offense was able to click at certain points in the game, and they were able to finish the game off with a nice drive at the end, nice run by Jared Goff. So the offense looked more in sync in last week's game than they did maybe in the last couple of weeks before the regular season. But that doesn't really matter. It's all about getting it done in the playoffs. So they got the job done last week. They looked nice on both sides of the field. Defensive line was getting a lot of pressure on the Cowboys' offensive line, and they had a very hard time getting past that. So both sides of the ball looked good. The Saints last week, they started off a little rough. They gave up those 2 early touchdowns, but I think the key for them was time of possession. They dominated time of possession after the first quarter, including that 12-minute drive in the third quarter. There was 18 plays long. It was ridiculous. And if you have drives like that in a game, chances are if you put points on the board, you're going to win the game. So they ended up strong past the first quarter. They looked great. Defense played their best game all year. They were able to, once they got through that first hiccup in the first quarter, figure out the problems, slow down Nick Foles, make him throw the passes he didn't want to throw. And it was very close towards the end, but they were able to get the victory. I'm liking what the Saints are doing just a little bit more. I know the Rams put up more points and all that stuff, but I feel like playoff Drew's going to come in here because he is 6-0 at home with the Saints in his playoff record. So he knows how to get it done at home, and I think that's where it's going to be a disadvantage for the Rams is that the Saints are playing at home and they don't lose there in the playoffs. So I'm going to take the Saints. My final is going to be 35-31. I think it's going to be a little bit closer of a shootout. Not to the 45-35 level we had earlier in the year because that was crazy. But I still think it's going to be a back-and-forth matchup, and it's going to come down to the last drive, and I think the Saints are going to get it done.
All right, so home field, #1 seed, sticking to the script. Dylan, Kevole, are you sticking to the script, or are you going to give this one to Sean McVay? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I
Usually
think
that's AC who does that, bro. What you're off your game today, Kevole.
Off my game a little bit. This is interesting. because we really do have two different teams that faced each other at that night in New Orleans. And like, let's look back at those numbers here as I pull them up. Hopefully, both passers were over 350 yards or close. Were over 300. Brandon Cooks had 114. Michael Thomas had 211. It was a really high scoring game. I actually don't think it's going to be as high scoring as now. I do think this may be my this may sound ridiculous. I think if it is a higher scoring game, I actually think it might favor the Rams more than the Saints. I think the Saints have wanted to make a bit of a change. We talked about this a little bit last week, that their offense hasn't been as proficient as it was since it was week 9, but their defense has been number 2 since the middle of the season. So it's been a really dominant defense, and they've wanted to run the ball more. I think the other thing that's going to be interesting is what's fascinating about this game is 4th down, because Sean McVay will take risks at 4th down. Sean Payton will take risks at 4th down. The punters may not, and the kickers may just have an opportunity to have a seat and not be a part of this game. And I think that's going to be really interesting. So I think that the Rams need to try to play mistake-free football, which they did last week. They found a way with Jared Goff to win. His stats were not awesome. He found a way to get all of his receivers involved. They were able to run the ball. It's going to be tougher to run the ball this week, even with CJ. To me, what this comes down to is 2 things, and we'll get into this in the next one. To me, I think in games like this, you have to go with the veteran. And the veteran here is Drew Brees. He has been here before. They won that game to get – the Saints were the team that needed – of all the teams that needed home field advantage other than the Seahawks, the Saints are the team that they have the best home field advantage in the National Football League. You're not playing the Saints, just the Saints. You're playing the Superdome. It's just something completely different. Marcus Peters yapping this week didn't help causes. I do think I've picked the Saints since the beginning of the year. I'm going to have to stick with them. I've been higher on the Saints all year. I think that this is a lower scoring game. I think this is actually going to be closer to what we saw last week, lower scoring. I'm kind of going in the 20 ranges for both teams, but I do think the Saints coming ahead.
All right, so Kevole pulled the Russo swerve there, going with all the Rams stats and the Rams everything, and then he's like, no, the Saints because of Drew Brees. I would like to say, as a Patriots fan, kind of hurt me there. You said the Saints have the best home field when the Patriots were 8-0 at home, but
there's something different about the Superdome than there is anywhere.
But I mean, the only undefeated team at home this year was the Patriots. Kevole, thanks for your pick. AC, are you going to stick with the trend, or are you going to go with the Saints as well here?
You know what? I'm going to have, like, everything that I've looked at, the Saints should win. I don't really trust Jared Goff because we've seen, I think the Saints are going to be able to stop the run, and I don't think he has the type of game to be clutch, and I think you're going to have to be. I do see it maybe playing out very similar to the Eagles game. I think Kevole was saying, I think this could be actually a bit low scoring. I think if you look at Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox was injured and was being dominant. It looked like they had problems with that left guard, Pete, on the inside of their offensive line. That's going to hurt them to be able to run the ball, which, I think the Eagles did a really good job of actually stopping the run, besides a couple big ones that were, I think there was 3 runs that were like 80 or 90 of the yards. I think the Rams are going to be able to do that. If Talib's healthy, now you're looking at a secondary that's better than the Eagles. Sure, Drew Brees is going to make his throw, and I still think they are going to win. The main reason why I'm taking the Rams is because...
You're taking the Rams?
I'm taking the Rams. Oh, I'm taking the Rams, even though the Saints should win.
You just said the Saints are going to win, but then you picked...
No, because this is the reason why I can't take the Saints is... Okay. For some reason, there was this weird rivalry that the Eagles didn't know about, that the Saints, when they won that game, they acted like they won the Super Bowl. And I thought that was a little bizarre, especially when you're a team that you want to make it to the Super Bowl, you want to win the Super Bowl, just because you beat the Eagles, who weren't good. You celebrated with the ski mask. You celebrated with our win song. Get your own thing. I don't get why. And the Eagles there was no issues with Eagles Saints. We haven't even played them. We played them, whatever, but it wasn't like
the only thing I remember about that rivalry, it wasn't even like started by the Eagles. It was the fact that Kamara in the offseason said that if they would have played, they would have beat you guys.
For sure, but then no one really said anything back.
Yeah.
I just think they celebrated a very bizarre way where it seemed like it was more about beating the Eagles than advancing to the NFC Championship. So for that reason, I'm taking the Rams, even though I do think the Saints are going to win. But the Rams.
Okay. So for me,
who are you picking?
I think the Saints are going to win, but I'm picking the Rams.
Okay.
I'll be rooting for the Rams.
Okay.
All right.
I'll say that then.
The New Orleans Saints. So, okay, wait.
So I'm
What's
definitely
your official pick?
Way. No, my official pick is the Rams, and I'll be cheering for the Rams. But I think there's a better chance that the Saints will win.
Okay, I just had to straighten that out. All right.
What's the guy, Doctor Strange? You see like a million different things.
A million different scenarios. So you're saying that there's more scenarios where the Saints win, but you're going with the one scenario where they defeat Thanos.
For sure, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I understand you now. You just had to put it into Marvel terms for my brain to understand.
Exactly. There we go.
Okay, the New Orleans Saints, the LA Rams. Of course, I do my previews like I've done all playoffs. I think a lot of this game is about how the game starts. And I think both of these games are about
Mike and leave.
Sorry?
AC dropped the mic and laughed.
Oh, bye, AC. So I think a lot of this game is about how the game starts. If the game starts with the LA Rams with the ball, running the ball effectively, going down, scoring, getting the lead, the Rams have a significantly higher chance of winning this game. If the Saints come out and like the last game they played the Rams, first drive, go out and score a touchdown, I think that, again, the Saints have a significant chance to win this game. So I think within the first 5 to 10 minutes, the game will be dictated on who has the lead early in the first quarter. Because I think for the Rams to win, they want to establish that running game. The Saints, they want to hop out in front, get their crowd into it, get that third down defense, rushing the passer, getting after it. They want to force the ball into Jared Goff's hands. This Saints defense only allowing 14 points per game over the last half of the season. So it's been really impressive from that standpoint. And they've been really, really locked down over the last half of the season. But when you're looking at the Rams, again, they want to run the ball. They're averaging 40 rushing attempts over the last 3 games. 40 rushing attempts. That's pretty ridiculous. So they've basically said we want to ground and pound the football. The fascinating part of this matchup is how will the Saints run defense look without Sheldon Rankins, because he got injured in that game against the Eagles. He is a big, big part of that run defense. They do have, some decent depth behind him, but we'll see how it looks. The Saints coming in this game first in yards per carry against as a defense, 3.3 at home. So they've been very good at stopping the run. But again, who starts this game off hot? Because teams have only ran the ball 33% of the time against the Saints because they're usually behind. So when the Saints are in front, it's more predictably a pass. And when it's a running situation, they're able to kind of clamp down on that. The Saints defense, though, has also been really good at defending the pass lately, under 250 yards passing in 7 of the last 9 games. And I think if Jared Goff does have to throw the ball 40-plus times like he did in the first game, I don't think they're going to win, especially without Cooper Kupp in this game. He had 89 yards. He had a touchdown in the first game. I do think where the Rams can take advantage of the Saints secondary is pretty much where Lattimore is not covering. I think Lattimore is going to be covering Cooks. Eli Apple's been pretty good. You got to give him credit. But if they put Robert Woods in the slot a lot, I think that's the real key place that they can take advantage of, because the Saints aren't very good at defending slot receivers. So probably I would suspect that Lattimore will cover Cooks a majority of the time, and Robert Woods will probably have a bigger day, but that's just my guess. When you look at the other side of the football, I think it's all about Kamara. It's all about Thomas. They both had huge games in the first game, and Michael Thomas had over 200 yards. And a lot of that was when the Rams defense was more a man-to-man defense, and they covered Marcus Peters with Michael Thomas all game, and it just wasn't working. Like, Thomas just owned him all day. Talib didn't play in that game, so Talib will be in this game. I think that's a big difference maker, but the Rams have become more of a zone defense lately. The Rams do allow just 20 points per game on the road, but they've played a lot of weak teams. They've played like the Broncos, the 49ers, the Lions, the Cardinals on the road. So that kind of inflates their road defense a little bit. For me, on the Saints side of the ball, if Michael Thomas isn't, going off, I still think he'll have a good game. But if he's not going off, who's that second receiver to step up? Is it Ted Ginn? Is it Smith? Is it Kirkwood? Last game against the Eagles, nobody really stepped up. I know Kirkwood had a touchdown, but Ginn didn't really do anything. Smith didn't really do anything. They need one of those guys to step up. And also, they could get one of their tight ends to step up because, as we talked about before, the Rams' covering tight ends isn't very good. So I think it's a compelling matchup on both sides of the ball. I do think, like you guys have been saying, it's going to be lower scoring than the first game because I just don't see all the advantages that the teams had on offense the first time coming into the second game. I just don't see it like as much in terms of a matchup standpoint. But it comes down to three things for me: Breeze versus Goff in the last 5 minutes of the game. I'm taking Breeze. Who has the better defense? Consistently, it's been New Orleans. And who's at home? It's New Orleans. So when looking at those three factors to narrow it down, I think the Rams do have a good shot of winning the game, but I think the Saints will win it because of those three reasons. I got the Saints winning 30-24. Do you guys have scores? Just out of curiosity.
35-31.
35-31. Kevole?
Yeah, I'm at more 28-21.
All right. AC?
Yeah, I'll go 27-21.
Rams,
yeah.
All right.
McVay's going to do the snap.
I feel like, too, and obviously in the game, I feel like it could come down with both these coaches being aggressive. It could come down to one of these crazy calls not working out for them.
That's what I'm seeing.
You know what I mean? Like a fourth down, like maybe a fake punt that doesn't convert, something like that. I could see something happening.
I also want to see, like, from the coaching standpoint, like, who's dictating that? Like, who's being the guy that's going out there and doing like the fourth and 4, like who's going for it on 4th and 4? Like, is it McVay that's like pushing the tempo? Is it Sean Payton pushing the tempo? Like, how is that matchup going to look? It's going to be very interesting because if you really think about it, I mean, McVay is like a younger Sean Payton. Honestly.
Yeah. I think I'm with AC. Like, someone is going to make a big mistake here. Like
for trying to be aggressive.
Yeah, someone's going to be too aggressive, and I feel like it's going to be McVay.
Okay. But is that because his team won't come through and execute, or is that just because it will be stupid?
Well, either or. But if your team doesn't execute, it looks stupid, right? It's always like you're always going to blame it on the coach making the decision.
I guess, but it depends on the situation to a certain degree.
No, well, I'm saying but if it's a play drawn up and it's a run and they don't get it, it's a coaching thing. I think if it's a drop pass or just a bad throw, then I think it's still always on the coach though. For the most part.
All right. Any other comments about this game?
You can see my preview for this game coming out tomorrow, where I have my 5 keys, and some of them were brought up by you, but I think that run defense is key. They were ranked second best for most of the, or actually first best for most of the year, but Chicago took over at the end. So, I think that is going to be a key with Anderson killing it. So that's one thing I'll put out there.
All right, Dylan, let's get to the comment section and hear their thoughts about this. I know a lot of people are going at it.
Absolutely. A whole lot of arguing about the top quarterbacks in the game. I'm going to try to keep it strictly to the comments in this game in particular, but we do have some predictions. Our boy Ram, he's a Rams fan, so he's cheering for the Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl matchup, a rematch of the Week 11 Classic. Ultra says it is going to be a great weekend. He's going to cheer for the Rams and the Chiefs, but they should be great games nonetheless. Young Citrus says he's going for Saints and the Chiefs. He was born and raised in New Orleans, so of course there's the Saints connection. Tedra's going for the Saints. Coach in the chat, he says he's pumped. They're both great games. Saints are a well-rounded team, and with special teams and coaching. Durkant says BLV better than ESPN. I mean, of course. I mean, thank you, but you know,
This is facts.
this is facts. Ryan, of course, go Pats go. He's excited. You know, Ryan Hodaley. You know the man.
Crazy, man.
Crazy man. Party, he's sad. You know, he picked the Colts. He was wrong. You know, he's just not having a good week last week. But I feel you, bro. Trust me.
Sorry, Party.
Sorry, Party. You did say in the chat, I remember this specifically, Party, I'm going to see you in the AFC Championship game. And that just didn't happen. That's
Dang it. I was so excited for that.
it's tough, man. Tough. Hansen brings up the fact that the Jets were the last team to beat the Patriots before they reached the AFC Championship game.
That is a fact, yes.
True. As
Mark Sanchez.
8 years ago today, actually. So,
Wow. I didn't know that.
yeah. And a full throwback, baby.
Thanks for bringing that up.
No problem. It doesn't affect this one because you guys made it here, but don't worry. Ultra, the first thing he brings up in this NFC Championship game is he hates the Saints, which is weird because all the time I see on Twitter,
he loves the Saints. Don't let him tell you he hates the Saints. That's his favorite team.
Loves them. I don't know why. I just see a whole bunch of
He
Saints
even tweets about them.
He has them winning 38-31 after saying that he hates them. He says Breeze is amazing, and he thinks 4 touchdowns from Breeze will put him in the Super Bowl. 38-31, like my score. Durkant's got a Rams W. Let's see if we got anything else. Party thinks that the Eagles should have won last week, and that the Saints won't score more than 28. If they do, he'll be shocked. So he's going with the Rams, it looks like. Interesting enough. We'll talk about the Pats a little bit. Durkant says Pats offense isn't that good on the road. I don't know if it's more of a Durkant Miami comment or more of a factual comment. It's a little bit of both, but I'll say that. They're talking about some key playmakers.
Durkant hasn't picked the Patriots all year. Just so
Never.
You guys know.
Never. I think he did once, and it shocked the hell out of me. Like I was like, nope, I don't. He didn't have.
He is 5-12 this year, betting or picking Patriot games.
5-12. The guys are talking about the playmakers, and then there was a lot of hate in the chat for Jared Goff. How I'm asking you guys, how much do we feel about Jared Goff? What do you think he'll do in this game? What?
I kind of said my opinion. I just think like if the run game is working, I think he'll have a good game. If the run game is not working, I think he could struggle to a certain degree.
He's going to have trouble audibling in the Superdome. It's going to be really loud.
Yeah.
I will say it is in a controlled environment in terms of weather, so that's not going to affect. It's not like playing in Chicago where he's like struggled in those type of atmospheres with the weather and the cold. At least it's in the dome. Like in the first game, he played well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's going to have trouble audibling because of the crowd. But he also, I think what is underestimated about Jared Goff, I think, is he's got some guts. He plays a really, nothing he does is, he doesn't do anything spectacularly well, but he's starting to develop the ability to find a way to win. That's what I think is Goff's strength. I don't think he'll do terrible here, but I think he's going to get a lot of blame if they lose. But I don't know if it will be fully him.
Interesting enough. I personally like what Goff did last week. He got the job done. So if it comes down to fourth quarter, we need to see Goff. I think it's a big game for his career. Let's see what he can bring to the table here. He needs to come out hot, though. I agree with Mitch with what he said earlier. Have to come out hot.
And I think that's the big thing too. It's Eli Apple is going to have a big game because he's going to get picked on.
Yep.
And he had a decent enough game, but also I don't think Foles was that great second to the final, from the second quarter on, end of the first on. And I think McVay is going to be able to, obviously, he's going to watch that game to figure out what he can do. But Saints defense is playing well right now. Yeah, I don't think Goff can be clutch, but if the run game's there, I think he has a lot to prove, right? So Last week, I think the pressure was on McVay, not Goff. This week, I think the pressure's on Goff, not McVay.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Because, McVay wins the playoff game. That's huge. I think that's what we were talking about more. I think they kind of win or lose on Goff's play this week, regardless of coaching.
Yeah.
I'll ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
If the Rams are losing by 2 points with 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining, getting the ball on their 25-yard line, will they win the game?
So you just got to get in field
goal?
Two
timeouts. Two timeouts, 1 minute, 10 seconds, and they got to get a field goal.
With
in a dome.
Seconds. Okay, so I'm thinking you got to get to around a 37-yard line for Zerline to get a 55-yard.
Even bigger. He could
get to 60. But if I want to be comfortable, I would say 37-yard line. And you start at the 25. It's an interesting question. I think with the 2 timeouts, they can get it done. I think they can get it because Brandon Cooks is going to go deep. He's going to try to get his pass interference call. That always works.
Yeah, they won't call that in the NFC Championship game.
They might. You never know.
Or Robert Woods on a slant goes right through his hands and then it gets picked off. That
could happen.
That's weird. I felt like that happened on Sunday. I think he can do it if there's 2 timeouts there. It just kind of depends on the coaching. Maybe in that instance, I would say this is on Big Bay. What kind of coaching do we have there?
Sorry, Kevole?
I'll say no. I think the Saints could get a turnover. Not necessarily because Goff throws an interception. A fumble could happen.
Okay. Bodo says Breeze hasn't been playing well the last 5 weeks, but they still win 24-21.
Interesting.
And Ultra has pointed out that I have brought the water bottle back. That is correct.
The big gallon, if you will.
Okay. Are you ready? The New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs AFC Championship game. It's the Phenom versus the Legend. It's last year's MVP versus this year's MVP. It's the GOAT versus the next one. It's all the storylines. It's a rematch of the 43-40 victory by the Patriots in Gillette Stadium on Sunday Night Football, one of the best games of the season. And a couple things have changed since then. Just in terms of players, the Patriots played Kenyon Barner in that game. He actually had a pretty decent role as a running back in that game. Eric Rowe was a starting corner, and Josh Gordon was a starting wide receiver. For the Chiefs, there was no Justin Houston or Eric Berry, but there was Kareem Hunt. So those are some things going into the game. Guys, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to advance to the Super Bowl? Do you think the GOAT, Tom Brady, will go to the Super Bowl, or do you think that the MVP, Patrick Mahomes, will go to the Super Bowl? We will start off with Kevole.
Well, of course you would. Of course you would do this to me. You know what? I have to tell you, to be honest with you, I have gone back and forth in my head about this all the time. First, let's start with Patrick Mahomes. It is my belief, in my opinion, he is the most naturally talented quarterback of the 4 remaining quarterbacks that we have. If you take the brain out and you just go on pure natural ability, it's Patrick Mahomes. Of course, we know that playing quarterback is more than natural ability. We can look at what Drew Brees has done. We can look at how Tom Brady has played over the years. We can look at how a number of things have happened. Now, we look at Kansas City, and everybody there's a lot of love for Kansas City right now. Skip Bayless thinks Andy Reid owns Bill Belichick. I'll let you respond to that, and I'll let AC debate that over and over. We know the love out here for Patrick Mahomes. We know, we know this offense. There's no one on the Patriots apparently that can stop Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs have made, Kansas City's made a number of different. Ron Parker they've said bye-bye to Ron Parker. He will be watching the game with us on the couch. So they made some significant changes on that secondary, and they did play better last week. They have a solid enough pass rush that they can do some things. There's everything in my head tells me Kansas City should win this game. But then there's science. Tom Brady is 13-2 in cold weather, and that doesn't matter where that cold weather is. The New England Patriots have been to the Super Bowl several times. Andy Reid is 0-2 in playoff games against Bill Belichick. Andy Reid has not had a good playoff success. And ultimately, schematically, what is concerning me the most about this is I think Kansas City's game plan almost will play into what New England wants to do. The second half New England Patriots have been a lot about running the football. And Kansas City is going to want to make this about a high-scoring game. The way to beat New England, in my opinion, is to limit Tom Brady's possessions. You look at how other teams have done it. When they limit Tom Brady's possessions, you have a better chance of winning. That's just the way it is. And I don't think Kansas City is going to be able to do that. I do believe Patrick Mahomes is going to win a Super Bowl. I understand the love for Kansas City. But I have to, I picked against New England last week, and I look like an idiot 5 minutes in. I can't pick against New England here. I know that they're the road team. I know that they aren't as good as they have been in the past, but they seem to find a way to win. And ultimately, when it comes down, here's the question. Here's that 2-timeout 25-yard line, who's going to get it done? I actually historically would tell me this year, Brady has a better chance of doing that than Mahomes, because Mahomes has had a number of chances to do it and hasn't quite done it. I'm not criticizing Mahomes, but Brady has shown more success on that. So I'm going to take cautiously. I'm taking New England. It wouldn't surprise me wins, but the science behind me, it's New England.
So to clear up Kevole's pick, he's picking the Patriots so he doesn't have to pick against the Patriots. That is clearing your pick for you?
No, this can go either way, but the science shows it's New England.
So are you taking in the lunar eclipse into this?
I did not take the lunar eclipse into this. I just tried to stick it to the
wolf moon. You didn't take that into account?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a big deal. Dilly Vanilli. All right. Are you going to counter Kevole's Patriots pick with a Chiefs pick, or will you go with the Patriots?
This is a very intriguing game. This is the one I'm actually more looking forward to, more than the Rams and the Saints game. There's a lot of facts, a lot of key notes to look at here. Brady, in his last 5 road playoff appearances, is 1-4. He averages 288 yards per game in this 5-game stretch, has 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So the stat line in the last 5 road playoff games has not been very good for Tom Brady. I get it. These are 5 different playoff teams compared to this one, but, stats have shown that these road playoff games are not a very great thing as of late. Cold weather is going to be a big factor. What is it going to be like? Nearly 0 degrees? It's going to be in the single digits. It's going to be snow. It's going to be a very cold game. But I think it's going to be an interesting kind of factor that we're going to see here. The Chiefs, they've been pretty good at home. I think the Arrowhead dynamic is going to play a big factor in this game, because if it was in New England, I'd probably pick them, like solid pick them. But in the Chiefs, it's a little bit more questionable. One thing that really surprised me, both teams surprised me in 2 different sides of the ball. The Chiefs defense surprised me, and the Patriots offense surprised me last week. The Chiefs defense only gave up 6 points to the Colts. 7 of those points that were given up, or the 13, were from that block punt for a touchdown. So 6 points given up from that Chiefs defense that we've criticized all year. I criticized in the last divisional round video because I thought the secondary was garbage. They weren't going to come up with big plays, and I didn't think they were going to. I thought they were going to give up a lot of plays to Andrew Luck. But before the last drive of the first half, the Colts didn't have a single first down. That's insane. We never thought this Chiefs defense was going to do something like that. So they really impressed me with the defensive side of the ball. They limited Andrew Luck, the guy we were saying, obviously, comeback player of the year. He's going to sling the rock, go crazy. Two people here picked the Colts. I was expecting it to be a bigger game from Andrew Luck, and the Colts defense or the Chiefs defense shut that down. Patriots offense. I thought it was going to be an interesting game between them and the Chargers. They came out rolling. They got a whole bunch of stuff. James White, we've been talking about getting him involved. He had 15 receptions. That's one way to get involved, I guess. That's the most, or tied for the most receptions in postseason history, playoff history. So that's a great sign to have somebody like James White get involved all over the field. It was just good, controlled offense. Really like what I saw from the Patriots. In terms of that, I didn't expect them to put up, 42? So good stuff on them. I was interested from both the Chiefs defense and the Patriots offense. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this pick. I am understanding that the Patriots are going to come in here and Brady said his comments, and those fear me because I know what Brady can bring come playoff time, and the guy's very he's going to put his stuff out there. But I think Mahomes realizes, I think Andy Reid realizes this is a different Chiefs team. They overcame the hurdle of getting that playoff game. It's at home. I think that's a huge advantage. The cold weather is going to play a factor in this game, but I think Patrick Mahomes is going to lead the drive. I think he's going to get it done. I'm going to go with 30. Oh, well, let's go with a different score here. Let's go 38-35. I think it's going to be another shootout. I think both games are going to be shootout. If they're different, I can see that happening, but I think it's going to be another barn burner. And I'm going to see Patrick Mahomes get down the field, maybe with that last drive at the end, and get the field goal ready for Butker to win it all. So 38-35, I'm taking the Chiefs.
So the butt kicker is going to put the Chiefs into the Super Bowl.
The butt kicker, yes, sir.
The first AFC championship in Kansas City ever.
Yeah, which is insane, but
insane. Especially because they've had good teams. This isn't like the Browns.
And Arrowhead's been there for 47 years. This is the first time. So, yeah. But
all right. So we have one each so far. AC, are you taking your newfound love of the Patriots, or are you going with the favorite, the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, let's get this. Like, they're not really the favorites, I think. I think if you polled most people, I know in the media, Patriots fans like to promote all the people, the idiots that are saying they suck. But if you polled most people in the media, it's like 70-30 picking the Patriots. I guarantee it. It's just a couple knuckleheads that are outspoken and I guess popular say that to make it seem like they're more of an underdog. But I know the Kansas City Chiefs don't think the New England Patriots suck. I think everyone in the league doesn't think the New England Patriots suck, and they don't. And I think they almost played the best game of their season, including the regular season, last week. And that's a big reason why I'm going to pick the Patriots, because I think out of the four teams, they're playing the best football right now. You can kind of, the Chiefs had a good defensive performance, and they were good last week, but still not as dominant, and obviously playing a better team in the Chargers. And then you look at the Rams and the Saints, where they weren't kind of at their best last week. So the Patriots are trending up at the right time. It's what they do. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be low scoring, but I did hear that it's actually fake news about how cold it's actuing going to be.
It changed. They changed
a little propaganda, midweek propaganda from some people. Saying that it's going to be unbelievably cold.
It was supposed to be, but the reports have changed. Yeah.
But
now it's going to be like 20.
Yeah, it's still going to be cold. Defensively, I think the Chiefs are going to be able to stop the run, but if you do that, it doesn't really matter because you have Tom Brady. Offensively, I think they're going to scheme. I think New England's going to scheme. Obviously, they're not going to be as successful as they were against the Chargers, but I still think they're going to be successful there. The biggest reason I would love to see Andy Reid go, and I don't think Andy Reid's going to call a poor game or it's going to be his fault or anything. I just think the way New England played last week was very, very impressive. And if I'm the Chiefs, I'm thinking that. I'm the Chiefs. It's almost like everyone wants to fight to be the underdog. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm like, in that locker room, I'm like, we're the underdogs. It's like two underdogs fighting. They're fighting to be the underdog because they don't want to be the favorite. They want to be the underdog. Everyone wants to be the underdog nowadays since the Eagles did it,
Yeah, it's all the Eagles. The Eagles are just
it was. They actually invented the underdog.
They invented it.
Yeah.
Well, Rocky Balboa, technically.
For sure. So, but it's still the Eagles, but he got it from the Eagles way back. Vince Napoleon, number one.
Yeah, obviously.
So all in, I think the Pats are going to win pretty solid. I think they're going to win by 10 points. I'm going to go 27-17.
17 points.
Yeah.
I would be ecstatic if the Patriots win 27-17.
Yeah.
I would be buying Super Bowl tickets if the Patriots won 27-17.
No, I think the way they played, man, like it was the best performance of the weekend. Like from defense to offense. I think they're going to get it done and, quest for 6, and then I hope that's the last we hear from them. So I'll let them have one more, and then everyone can retire, and then Sam Darnold can start running the AFC East.
Oh yeah, I've seen those reports. Sam Darnold is going to go to the AFC Championship. I've seen that already.
Howard is a fucking goof. Get this man off the TV.
Okay. Patriots, Chiefs. I talked about how the Saints game is going to be about who starts hot. I think that matters in this game as well, because when you look at it, the Chiefs are a very fast starting team. They are the best first quarter team in the NFL, which Bill Belichick actually brought up in his press conference. I think if the Chiefs start fast, it takes the Patriots, out of their comfort zone a little bit. I think it's going to be, a little bit worrisome if you're a Patriots fan, if the Chiefs pop up like 10, 14, nothing. I think you're sitting there and you're like, whoa, okay, we're not like, this is not like the team it was a few years ago where we can just throw the ball all the way down the field all game and just win. So I feel like if the Chiefs do go up early by like 2 scores, then it's going to be difficult for the Patriots to win. But if the game stays relatively close throughout, I think it favors the Patriots. And if the Patriots get a lead, I think it significantly favors the Patriots because that's exactly what they want. So the first quarter, I think, is going to be huge for this game. I think the Patriots' offensive game plan is going to be very similar to the last game. It's going to be run the ball. It's going to be set up play action. It's going to be hit their shots down the field. And early in the game, slow down the pass rush, use some screen passes, some dump offs to James White, quick passes to Edelman, whatever. Get the ball in your playmakers' hands early and kind of slow Houston down, slow Ford down, slow Chris Jones down, and then have them thinking about the running game early on, so it kind of slows them down throughout the game. On the other side, Kevole brought it up. The Chiefs, they want to push the pace. They want to make this a shootout. They want to make this 49-42. The Patriots want to slow the game down. And I know Kevole said that teams that traditionally, beat the Patriots are the teams with the time of possession, which is sort of true. But I feel like the Patriots are kind of wanting to play like their old school 2003 football, where they're the one with the time of possession, playing Peyton Manning in the playoffs, and they're keeping Peyton Manning on the sidelines. This time, Peyton Manning is Patrick Mahomes. I don't think this game will be 43-40. I think this game will be lower scoring because I think the second time around, Bill Belichick's too good of a defensive coach for his defense to give up 40 points. And Andy Reid, I have too much respect for him to come into this game, no matter how bad the Chiefs' defense has been, especially because they're at home, where they only give up 17.4 points per game at home. They do give up 34.6 on the road, so that's a drastic difference. But the Chiefs' defense is better on the road, and I think the Patriots' defense, just this being the second time, having those adjustments, seeing that speed on the field for the first time, and then kind of knowing what it's going to be like the second time, I think that's huge playing the Chiefs, because it's like, okay, we know what Tyreek Hill is like on the field now. We know what Patrick Mahomes is like on the field. We know what these guys can do. Sometimes it's different from watching them on tape and then seeing them in person. And I think that's the same thing for the Chiefs defense as well, knowing what Tom Brady is like. So looking at it, I think what Bill Belichick always says is before you can win, you can't lose. Before you win, you can't lose. So by doing that, the way you're going to lose is if Dee Ford and Justin Houston and Chris Jones are teeing off at Tom Brady. If they're doing that, you're going to lose. So like I said, slow them down early and get that run game going. The Chiefs, talking about that run defense, they're dead last in run defense in the NFL. They're the worst run defense on first down as well. And that's exactly, what the Patriots will want to do. They'll want to run the ball. on first down. On third down, the Chiefs are dead last in third down running defense, or when the running back gets the ball in general. So rather passes to running backs or running the ball on third down. They give up 70% of the time a first down when the running back gets the ball on third down. And we know the Patriots love to do that. I think James White will be utilized similarly to the game against the Chargers. The Chargers were the worst team against receiving running backs, and that's why he had 15 catches. This time, the Chiefs are the third worst at stopping receiving running backs. I look at their linebackers. I just don't think they can really match up with him. You know, Anthony Hitchens and Reggie Ragland. I just don't see that as a good matchup for them. They're probably going to have to try and match up with a safety in the passing game when they can. But it's not going to be easy because the Patriots will come out in heavy sets, and that's not going to be easy to have safeties covering running backs in heavy sets. I do think James White, I went back and watched the first game. James White had quite a few carries in that game. I think he'll get some carries in this game, like more so than he did against the Chargers. It was mostly just Michelle running, White receiving, but I think you'll see more White running the ball too. I expect Fuller to be covering Edelman, so that should be a pretty good matchup. Edelman mostly won that matchup the first time around. I think that was the second game Edelman played. He had a touchdown. He had a few big plays, but it's going to be a good matchup overall, and that's the Chiefs' best corner, so watch out for that. I think the Patriots' X factor on offense, besides their running game, is going to be Philip Dorsett because the Chiefs play a lot of man coverage, and I think if I trust a receiver other than Edelman to beat man coverage, it's oftentimes been Philip Dorsett. So I think he could probably get just a couple of catches here and there, and that could be a big deal. And I will give the Chiefs this. They're not going to just sit there and play cover 3 like the Chargers did all game and just let Brady complete the pass. They're going to be aggressive, and they're going to force the Patriots to make plays. And hopefully they can come through. I do think that Gronk is going to have a couple of big plays in this game. I know this is, he's been mostly a run blocker and been really good at it lately, but I think he's going to have a couple big plays in this game like he did the first game. Looking at the other side of the ball, this is the side of the ball that really fascinates me because it's Belichick versus Mahomes. It's matchups everywhere. The first matchup you really think of against the Patriots is Tyreek Hill has been torching the Patriots. He's torched them twice. Last game was very interesting because Hill scored 3 touchdowns in that game, and I think 3. And 2 of them were when they were blitzing, and Devin McCourty was covering Tyreek Hill one-on-one. Now, to me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think that's going to happen a lot in this game. I don't think they'll try that again because on 2 of the touchdowns Hill had, Devin McCourty, a safety, was covering Tyreek Hill. So I think that was a flaw in their game plan that I don't think they'll try again. I think they'll probably double team him a majority of the game. I think you'll see probably J.C. Jackson and a safety over top. And I think for the Patriots, it's all about that, bumping them at the line, getting them off their route. And I think that's specifically going to be true for Kelsey. They did that a lot in the first game, and Kelsey didn't have a great game. I think he had like 60 yards on like 6 or 7 catches. Like it wasn't an overly productive game. Chung was on him for a lot of the game, but a lot of times they would kind of bump him with like Hightower or somebody. I think they'll do a lot of that again. And I think we'll see Gilmore on Sammy Watkins just one-on-one. It was interesting to watch that first game because Mahomes was pretty flustered. Like specifically in the first half, he was pretty flustered, but then in the second half as well, like he had a few big plays, but like the Chiefs truly had a Chiefs offensive game in that game. When looking at that game again, the Chiefs, they scored, basically this is how it was. It was 24-9 at halftime for the Patriots. So the Chiefs come out and they're dominating the game at this point. The Chiefs have been stopped in the red zone a couple times, maybe missed a touchdown here and there. But the Patriots played good defense and they were dominating on offense. And the Chiefs came out of the second half and they hit a Kareem Hunt like 70-yard wheel route down the right sideline, which was a coverage bust. And then the next drive, the Patriots get the ball, strip sack at the Patriots 29-yard line. And Brady, Dylan, do you remember this play? Because we did the live stream. He's kind of like running around for like a long time. And then the Chiefs like hit the ball out of his hands. So that was a really weird play. So the Chiefs got the ball there. They scored again with a Tyreek Hill touchdown. And then late in the game, they had another coverage bust. So this is 3 like really weird flaws in the game where they got the long touchdown to Tyreek Hill where there was nobody on the left side of the field.
Wide open touchdown.
He was wide open. And then the other play late in the game is they got a 97-yard kick return, and they almost got a touchdown on that. So when you really look at it, the Patriots defense played pretty well, but there was like 3 or 4 plays where they just completely gave up a coverage bust for a wide open touchdown. So as a Patriots fan, you're saying the chances of that happening again is probably not likely, but you just hope it doesn't happen again. And it was a very weird game. And I think another big thing is just a lot of missed contains. Every big play that Mahomes had in that game was scrambling outside the pocket to the right or the left. And specifically Adrian Claiborne, like 3 or 4 plays just completely missed the contain, and Mahomes went around the corner and threw the ball down the field. So they're going to have to, if they're not blitzing, which I hope they do blitz quite a bit like they did against the Chargers, they need to keep the contain, or else they're going to give up big plays like the first game. And ultimately, I think for both defenses, it comes down to red zone defense. And I am going to go with the homer pick because ultimately, like the Saints game, I am going with the team that I feel like has the better defense. I feel like what the Patriots on offense want to do is what the Chiefs' flaws are on defense. So that being said, I will pick the Patriots 30-27 over the Chiefs. It's going to be a really good game. And I could easily see the Chiefs winning if the Patriots defense does give up some of these big plays like they did the first time. But if the Patriots don't give up a 50-plus yard touchdown, they will win this game. That is my prediction.
Tyreek Hill, he's the GOAT at that. So they're gonna have to figure out a way to stop him unlike last time. That's good. And
the Patriots the weird thing about that, Dylan, is the Patriots defense is the best defense at not giving up big plays.
Well, so
that's the weird thing about it. That game was just so.
And they
weird.
Also did it to much. They weren't able to stop Tyreek last time. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird that they gave up those plays, and I just hope again that Devin McCourty is not covering Tyreek Hill one-on-one. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I want to see
strategy, Cotton, but it didn't work last time.
I want to see double coverage on Hill. Leave Gilmore in by himself. Nobody even needs to be on that side of the field. Okay, Gilmore by himself on Watkins. Okay, all right, and cover Hill. That's all I ask. If that happens, you're probably going to win the game.
I'm going to say that Travis Kelce has a bigger importance on this game than he did last time. If what you're saying is true, I think he'll have a bigger game.
All right. I agree. If he does have a big game, that kind of changes things. They'll have to adjust. We'll see, though. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Let's go to the comments. Let's see what these guys think.
The chat. Let's see where we got from. Okay, I'm trying to see where we started here.
Geez, like I haven't updated this for a while, and it's like really it's when you get all these comments at the same time.
Yeah,
that's what's happening to me right now.
I can only go up to 13 minutes. Can you go farther than that on your comments?
17 minutes. I can go up to the comment from Roblox that says Patriots will win.
I think you're farther than me. So yeah, go ahead. If you can.
All right. Roblox, who I believe has a Patriots logo as his picture, so take this with a grain of salt, says Patriots will win. Party was going through the whole roster for the Chiefs and the Patriots, and I think he sided with the Patriots. I can only see where he's at on defense, which he gave the D-line to the Chiefs. The linebackers, he said, I don't know. Corners, the Patriots. Safeties, the Patriots. And I remember he gave the quarterback to the Patriots, the running back to the Patriots, the tight end, or I think he just gave receivers to Chiefs. I don't know if he did tight end. And then he gave offensive line to Patriots. So that's his evaluation. Kevin says Patriots aren't scoring 30-plus with laughing faces. Argo says Chiefs are getting Ware and LDT, their right tackle.
Dr. Tardif.
He's a guard.
Yes, the doctor is playing.
I don't know. Is he playing for sure? I saw he was practicing.
He is expected to be activated for the game.
All right, interesting. Patriots will win this game, says Ada. What?
I will say the Chiefs actually had a really good run game last week as well. I know it's a different kind of ball game from Hunt to Williams here, but they were really solid on the run.
I want to see how that is, but I think the Patriots, like I've said many times, I think they're going to invite the run. I think that's the assumption here.
They'll try to, I would say.
But going back and watching that game, man, Hunt is something else.
Yeah.
Especially against the Patriots.
Yeah, you're right. He is something else.
He's something else.
Yeah.
In a bad way, too.
On the field, I meant.
Yeah.
What else? This is a random question, but where do you guys think Le'Veon Bell will go? Says Party.
Jets. Nobody else?
Nobody else wants to answer?
I'll
Eagles,
go
does AC?
Jets. No, it's too much money, and we need money to re-sign some guys. Because he's going to actually probably end up getting like 16, 17.
Predator says nowhere.
Nowhere.
Argo says Mahomes is the NFL cash cow now, not Brady. Debatable because Brady still has the most jerseys sold in the NFL. I don't even know how that's possible, but Wentz will be healthy and is still a top 10 quarterback, says Party. AC? He's black, so.
The black screen of death.
Chiefs are in Arrowhead. Come on, man, says Argo.
What does that mean?
It means that they've
won 2 playoff games since 1994. In that,
are they 6-2 this season in Arrowhead or 7-1?
They lost to the Chargers and they lost to, I think that's it actually. I believe it was the Chargers.
They lost to the Patriots. They lost 4 games, right? They lost to the Seahawks. That was on the road.
It was on the road. Patriots was on the road.
In the road.
Oh, and the Rams. So they've lost 1 game on the road.
Yeah. At home. Yeah.
But they have lost on the road. So, but yeah, of course they're better at home. That's an interesting comment by Predator.
Which one?
The way Mahomes walks.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Just to answer Party, Big Ben did not win a Super Bowl as a rookie. He was a second-year player.
Yes.
When was Brady's last road playoff game? It was 2015 against the Denver Broncos. They lost on the 2-point conversion because Steven Gostkowski couldn't kick an extra point.
And at that time, the extra point was at the 2-yard line. Still, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
It didn't change till the next season.
And all I remember from that game is that Von Miller destroyed the Patriots and that Gronk just absolutely was a freaking animal in that game. Like, Gronk was the only reason the Patriots were even close.
Yeah.
That's all I remember from the game.
The Von Man.
What else?
He's looking.
Ultra Baltimore was actually at home.
Yeah.
And 2013, if I'm being honest, the Patriots never had a chance to beat the Broncos that year.
We got 2 guys from the solid team. Yes, Stephon Gilmore and Chris Jones. They'll be both playing.
Oh, so Stephon Gilmore has made the solid team.
Yes.
How is 2 all-pro players solid?
Okay,
can you explain that?
Oh, no, because I think somebody else said that Stephon Gilmore was solid. I don't know who said it. It wasn't me. But the Chris Jones one was just off the top of my head, like one of those unscripted moments. He's great.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. First one, what is the legacy of Andy Reid, win or lose? Is Andy Reid a Hall of Fame coach?
If he wins, I think he'd have to win the Super Bowl in order to because he'll go up so many ranks in the head coaching department if he wins.
Yeah, that's the thing. If he wins a Super Bowl, he's gonna go way up. But if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, he's gonna stay around the same place, which is still a Hall of Fame coach, but he'll never be looked at as the best of the best.
Yep.
AC, what do you think?
Yeah, it's with his record and what he's done for so many years. He's definitely a Hall of Fame coach, right? Like what he's only had maybe. I don't think he's had a losing.
One losing season.
Yeah, with the Eagles, and then he got fired,
Mhm.
and maybe two because I think his first year, they might have. Yeah, but right, he hasn't had one losing season with the Chiefs. He's, brought the Chiefs. I guess the Chiefs had some good pieces, but for a guy too that's basically like the GM as well, like a Belichick, it's you can go in the Hall of Fame because of that. But yeah, it's big. It's gonna take a lot. I'll be somewhat rooting for him. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think the Patriots are just on a different level right now.
And they're the underdog.
The underdog.
Hashtag don't bet against us, says Julian Edelman.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, but if he's telling people that, then the spread's gonna go to even because everyone's gonna listen to him.
And Tom Brady was listening to many men, so game over right there.
So, Mitch, you have Pat Saints. AC has
Pat.
I have Pats
Rams.
Which in my head, like honestly, like if AC's right about the Rams, I think we were wrong on the Saints because the Rams were playing better at the moment. I think that's the reason why the Rams win. We're not taking into account that the Saints have not looked as good lately. Am I right there, do you guys think?
Could be. I mean, I like what I saw out of the defense last year more than any week of the season. So
Last week, you mean?
Yeah, last week. So
But I'm just saying the offense.
Yeah, the offense hasn't been great, but they also time of possession is going to be key in that game. Like I said earlier, that'll be huge.
So, but all of us have at least one of the old school quarterbacks going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
None of us have Chiefs Rams.
None of it. Okay. So, what about this narrative that you need to strike while the iron's hot and when your quarterback is on the rookie contract? Myth or fact?
I agree with it. It's one of the couple ways you can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you need to strike when the iron's hot. Just ask the 2016 Dallas Cowboys with rookie Dak, and look how that's gone since then. So
unless you have a guy like Brady who's taking a significant pay cut, it's hard to maneuver your team. If you look at this year, for example. I mean, out of the top 10 guys that were paid, one of them made the playoffs.
Yeah, the top 6 didn't, and I think one of the top 10 made it.
Something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Kirk Cousins was one of the top 6, and he was the closest. Matt Ryan, all these guys.
Who was the one that made it?
Stafford didn't make it.
Who was the one of the top 10 that made it? Was it?
I would have to look.
It was either Wilson or Breeze.
I'm thinking Breeze then. I don't think Wilson got in the top 10, but yeah. Either way, it's huge. You don't need to put all this money towards that.
Ultra asks Dilly, can we get the Browns hat?
It's too far away at the moment. I apologize. But much love to the Browns. I almost bought a Baker jersey yesterday.
Corey called that Kevole would pick against Kansas City.
It was close. It's close. I flipped either way.
Kevin Durkant says Rocky 4 is better than Creed 2.
I mean, that's just unfair, isn't it?
But in a way, Rocky 3, the storyline was more similar to Creed 2.
How? Oh.
Because he fights, he gets killed by Mr. T, right?
It was a mix of Rocky 4 and Rocky 3.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, you can say that. I just thought, because I was watching Rocky 3, I'm like, this is actually more like the storyline. He's the champion. He fights someone, and maybe he shouldn't. Obviously, it was different because Rocky's older anyways. But
anyways, what did you think of Creed 2 there, AC?
Oh, it was awesome. It did, I loved it, but it still missed the kind of rawness of the first one because he's famous. So you couldn't do that, right? He was a big fighter, right? The first one was great because he was just an unknown, and I liked the Ricky Collins story, and I still really liked it. I just thought it missed a little bit of rawness, but it was great. I still enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. I just thought compared to 1, it definitely wasn't as good as Creed 1. But I'll keep on watching them until they stop making them.
That's what I think makes total Rocky tangent. I think that's what makes Rocky 2 really like underrated, because they go from such a high, then everyone doesn't really talk about Rocky 2, even though it's like really good, the direction they take the character in that movie after he becomes famous. But this is a total movie tangent. Yeah. All right. What else do we have? Hope this video is the last we hear from AC. Ghost Skittle is not an AC fan.
Ghost is not an AC fan.
No, it's fine. I don't know, just because the Eagles beat the Patriots. But I got no problems with you, man. You know, keep doing you, bro.
Robot says AC is a goat. Stop hating.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, thanks.
Kevin Durcan says Kevole is the true goat.
I don't disagree with that.
His Father Hawk.
Father Hawk.
Rick Bad Boy says, sup, Mitch? What's going on? What else we got here? AFC West standings next year will be Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. That sounded like the this year standings.
Exactly the same as this year.
That's probably doubtful because that doesn't happen very often.
It's very, yeah.
Post Brady standings: Jets, Bills, Dolphins, Pats. Well, that makes me sad. Thanks.
I'm just not. Oh God, I'm not getting on this Jets hype train.
It's not happening. Sorry.
Not getting on this train. Freaking Colin Coward over here.
I think the Bills are in better shape than the Jets.
I would agree.
But that doesn't mean that I think the Bills are running the AFC East.
Ada says, I don't even care about the weather. I know the Patriots got this game.
A Joe Namath guarantee. Oh, on that one.
Yep. Earl says, Goat will find a way if his defense gives him a chance. Corey says Brady hasn't won I think he meant a road playoff game since 04. Sorry, not actually it's 06. Not happening. Kansas City easily the most disrespected #1 seed in NFL history. What do you guys think about that?
I think the Eagles were.
Probably in one of them, yeah.
To be fair, we were all like, when Carson went down, we were all like,
sure.
no.
No,
I'm
just saying they were underdogs in every single game as the #1 seed.
Even though AC, you do remember me like not picking the Eagles and then after like picking the Eagles every game. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, and they won.
I felt like a complete idiot in my NFL playoff prediction video because I didn't pick the Eagles and then I just kept picking the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, then you technically won either way.
I'm an idiot. I still regret that.
What about the Seahawks a couple of years ago when they were called, that #1 seed was called, their receivers were called pedestrian by a certain Hall of Fame defensive back?
No, which year was that?
That was your one.
2013 or 2014? Or the Patriots year?
Yeah.
Oh, no, everybody thought they were going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they were a good team. But I could see.
No, they weren't certainly not disrespected by the Eagles, but I don't think Kansas City's the most disrespected #1 seed.
You have picked against them both times, though.
No, and that's the one thing. There were a lot of people that were taking the Colts because Colts were on the up and up, and still they didn't see the Chiefs. And this week they are, but both games they were favored. That's why it's a little different than last year. But you still are having people that are legitimately thinking the other team's going to win, even though you are a one seed. I don't think like it's not like the biggest in history, but I could see in that locker room, like I said, everyone wants to play the underdog. Maybe that helps them too. They're going into it being like, we're the underdogs, even though we're favored. But I don't know. Everyone wants to have no one cheering for you, and then to beat all odds.
You know why I want that? Because the Patriots never have that.
But if
Dylan hurts his foot.
Like the Patriots will be, if they play the Rams, they'll be at least 4.5.
I don't think if they play the Saints, I don't think they'll be favored.
No. I think that's a pick 'em though. I still think if you're the Patriots, and depending how they win, if they all of a sudden come out and play unbelievable again 2 weeks in a row, that has to have some sort of consideration.
Corey says, get this clown off Bottom Line View. Because he said that the Chiefs would only score 17, which is funny because I remember one game, the 07 Super Bowl, where Plaxico Burress said that the Patriots would only score 17, and the Patriots only scored 14, and everyone was laughing at him because they said they would only score 17, but they only scored 14. So, yeah, Plaxico was right.
Plaxico, shoot him in the foot burst. What a legend.
Okay. Corey says, once again, proves my point. Kansas City outside. Philly last year is the most disrespected first seed in NFL history. That's a joke. Laugh my ass off. He also says, Kansas City plays press coverage. Quick passing game will be neutralized if you put hands on their receivers.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I Dominate says, am I the only one getting annoyed by people saying Breeze could be the GOAT if he wins another Super Bowl? I haven't really heard that.
I have not heard that once this year.
Well, GOAT doesn't mean like it used to. Everyone's the GOAT nowadays.
He is one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
He's not like, I don't know if this is a discussion.
No, if he wins, he's definitely one of the GOATs for sure. But I still think you could say he already is because of the season stats.
Yeah.
He's top 10.
It would really help if he gets a second one. Like, it will just add to the legacy.
Would you take him over, would you take him over Rodgers?
Yes.
Like career-wise?
Yes.
Yeah, career-wise, yeah.
Would you take him over Peyton?
No. And it's not like Peyton put up big numbers, and obviously we're in this offensive phase, and obviously he was doing that when Peyton was doing that as well. But like Peyton in those like Marvin Harrison days, like that was impressive, the numbers he put up at that time, because it still wasn't like offenses weren't like putting up the same amount of points in the early 2000s when Peyton Manning was putting up stats, right?
Yeah.
That's why I would still say Peyton.
Go Skittles. What?
Drew to beat Peyton in the Super Bowl.
Tracy Porter did.
No, and I understand. But that's still fine. But I'm saying when you're looking at the grand scheme,
I would take Peyton.
The question is Brett Favre a top 10 quarterback? That's the question.
No, on Kevole's list, he's 24th.
Or 70th.
He's 29th. God.
There it is.
20.
Ghost Kittle says, this is a prediction. Pats 35-20. The evil empire will prevail. Josh Gordon would have been nice. I agree, Earl. Roman Rollins says, Pats are going to destroy the Chiefs.
Destroy.
Mahomes has a bad voice, says Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant or AD? Billy?
Oh, Durant, but AD's a beast as well. It's kind of a different ball game, you know what I'm saying? But Durant.
Yeah, Durant I think is the best player in the league.
But he didn't. It's not like he won. But the thing is, yes, Durant is unbelievable. But it's not like Durant won when he wasn't with the Warriors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could say like you put
Still,
AD.
I think all around he's the best player. Like LeBron doesn't even play defense anymore. So
no, definitely. But but when you're saying Anthony Davis, I think Davis, if he goes to another team with like he's never even played with another star. Like the best is what, Drew Holiday?
No, he played with Cousins, but for 10 games.
But still, I'm saying actually like a facilitator or like a
different position,
something. Like someone else is going to put up like
LeBron in 2019. It's gonna happen, you know. No.
So Corey's overwhelming point is that the Pats have not won a road game since 2006.
Yeah, I think that's definitely.
It's definitely something before he left.
I will say that none of the teams they've played on the road have had as bad of a defense as the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I will say that. Earl is going with the Rams. Better defense, he says. Bodo says factor fiction. Mahomes will have a sophomore slump. I think that's all the way fact. It's like impossible to have a better season.
How could you possibly get for this season and improve on that? Well, he had the second most passing touchdowns. He had over 5,000 yards. Sophomore slump, I think it'd be a digression. Like you'll have less, but he won't.
But he may end up being a better quarterback for it.
Yes.
Not that he's a terrible quarterback.
Yeah, stats don't always mean one guy's better than the other. That is like one of the biggest myths ever. Corey says Gilmore is good, but if he's left alone one-on-one with Hopkins all game, I think Mahomes throwing him the ball, a talented receiver like Watkins, the edge. Well, that's your opinion. If Gilmore can cover Antonio Brown, I think he can cover Sammy Watkins, but that's just my opinion. Coach says, is Antonio Brown a diva?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, my big issue is, like, I don't care how he acts. I just think you signed a contract with them. If you had these lingering things or whatever, you knew that there could be an issue. You could have, instead of taking the money, you could have not signed and you could have been a free agent and then get wherever you want, right? Because I think that's the big issue for me. Just don't sign a contract. If you're not happy where you are or you think you're not going to be, don't take the money. Like, if you think you're that good, it would be a bigger, if you want to be even a bigger prima donna, that would be a bigger, like, bet on yourself. The guy acts like he would bet on himself, so he should have done it. If you want it out, just don't sign the contract, go to free agency and get a ransom.
Really seems like they're pushing that 49ers thing pretty hard.
Jerry Rice has been in the media last week. He's pumping it up.
I'm just trying to imagine Richard Sherman and Antonio Brown on the same team and just laughing my ass off.
But like,
yeah, they won't fight at all.
No, they're great. They're great together.
I'm just like, if you're the,
I can see them doing some commercials together.
if you're the Steelers, like what, like 1 first-round pick?
I think you have to. Like, you can't do any more than that. Well, even he's getting a little older too. And honestly, this year, I know people are gonna be mad, but I think he declined a little bit this year.
Well, Juju had better numbers than him, so you got outshined on his own team.
But again, going to the 49ers, I think he'd be pretty damn good.
If you're a legitimate Super Bowl contender, do you want Antonio Brown?
If you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, would you want Antonio Brown going to the Niners?
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he can torch you?
With what?
With his talent?
He's going to rip that team apart.
I would want him. I'll take him.
Yeah, I'd take it. If the Eagles won, I'd take him too.
I'd take him with Cooper. That'd be nice.
I would take him just for the games
pick
against the Steelers, to be honest. I think that'd be funny as fuck.
What'd you say, AC?
You don't have a first-round pick anymore, though.
I know. We'll give him a
Yeah, you got your receiver.
We'll give him 2. We'll give him 8. We'll give him a second round and
Dylan, would you have rather made the playoffs this year, got a playoff win with Amari Cooper and had your success, or waited and then guaranteed got Antonio Brown?
If I was guaranteed,
yeah, guaranteed.
Okay, because then what would also happen is that Garrett would have been fired, and I got
it could have helped.
Yeah.
Oh shit! You guys should have waited.
We should have fucking waited. I would have absolutely loved that. But
oh my God, Antonio Brown would have been TO all over again.
Oh, those great years. We're actually
bring back Bill Parcells for old time's sake. The player.
We'll bring Bill Parcells, Quincy Carter, Marion Barber, all the greats.
Tony Romo comes back. My teammate.
Can't wait.
Bodo says, gives us $5. He says, AC rules, Ghost drools.
Nice.
I like it.
I like the rhyme, too.
Rodney says Rams over Pats in the Super Bowl. Jordan says Steelers predictions next year. Where y'all think Antonio Brown will go? We talked about that. And did you see his tweets today? Did we see his tweets today? I didn't see any of them yet.
No, he said to Bruce Arians, there was a quote saying that Arians was just like, I think he's a diva, whatever. And then AB didn't even really look at the quote. He's just like, you didn't even draft me. And like, even though Arians didn't say he drafted him, he's like, you drafted Emmanuel Sanders, who like all he did was go to the media and like talk about me and stuff. And then Emmanuel Sanders like, dude, like I was just trying to do my stuff, and you were a topic, and then I talked about it. I wasn't like going out of my way to like.
Was Antonio Brown's on a different, or Emmanuel Sanders on a different team now? Why does it?
No, I know. It was just something because he wanted to like tie them together because Emmanuel Sanders was on like the NFL Network, and that
he was. I saw that.
And then that was just something that came up, and obviously you can talk about it, but I don't think he did said anything. So
wasn't Sanders on the Steelers?
Antonio Brown should be mad at anybody. He can unleash on Ryan Clark, who laid it out on what he was.
In terms of Steelers predictions, I think they'll go third in the AFC North next year.
I still think they're still going to be they're going to be the same thing. They're going to be a week 16 or a week 17 game away from the playoffs.
I think they'll be second in the division.
I'm not sold on the Browns yet, though. I'm not quite there.
Ada says, "How can anybody bet against the Patriots this time of year?" Robot Guy says AC confirmed GOAT. Bodo says, "I hate the Saints coach. I want to punch him in the face."
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think he is pretty arrogant. Like he's very arrogant. Like I've never seen a coach like pump up the crowd like all the time whenever he can. Like
Predator says Breeze is better than Rodgers already. You guys think that?
Yeah, I think we said. Yeah, I just think Rodgers has some more time to prove.
Rodgers is the most talented quarterback we've probably ever seen, but in terms of like what's been put on the table, Breeze is better.
Les says, "LOL, Drew Brees is not top 10 all time." Well, Les, I would like to see your list.
There's no doubt in my mind he's a top 10. I would love to see that list.
Rob says, "Fact or fiction, Breeze announces his retirement if the Saints win the Super Bowl."
I think it would be true, honestly, but I think it would be pretty drastic. I feel like the Saints would still want him to play. Like I don't know how they would feel about that. Who knows?
I don't know.
I Dominate actually thought that Kev was serious about Brett Favre.
About the 29th best quarterback?
29th. He says, "How is it? Can you explain that to me?"
Actually, no, I do want to see Kev's QB rankings. Like, I actually want to see where Brett Favre is at in a real situation.
Oh.
So is like Matt Hasselbeck better than Brett Favre if he's at 29?
He's better. They're both excellent talkers, though.
We're going to go down the field. We're going to score.
Matt is a great talker, but he's not a better quarterback than Brett Favre. I just think Brett Favre is overrated.
What range do you have, Brett Favre? Give it a range. Above or below Ben?
Ooh.
Probably around the same.
Okay, where?
Well, top 5 is Brady, Montana, Peyton, Unitas. So not there. Breeze is in my. I'd have to think about it, but Favre is in probably low 10s, high after that. He's not in the top 5. I'll say that.
So is he in the top 10 or is he in the top 20?
He probably would be in the top 20, but like I'm in the school that Brett Favre was if you look at what he actually did, especially in playoffs, he is overrated. I do believe that.
All right.
He went to the Bodo school of quarterbacks because he never gives any credit. And I'm saying you're not, but Bodo never gives any credit to teams that didn't win shit in the playoffs.
Jeremy says, "Mitch, last time you watched WWE?" Actually, like 3 weeks ago, I watched part of a match between Rey Mysterio. Like, it was Rey Mysterio, so I just like saw him and I was like, "Oh, I'll watch this for like 2 minutes."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember. It was like a tag team match. I think like fucking Sin Cara or some shit was in the match. I don't remember. Some cruiserweight guy. Other than that,
when's the last time you sat down and watched not a full episode, but like, even with commercials?
Holy crap. At least a year and a half.
Was it since when we last started reviewing?
Probably, yeah.
How
about you?
It's probably been the same. Like an episode of Raw is different from a pay-per-view because the last pay-per-view I watched was Survivor Series, but I haven't watched a Raw in full since we stopped watching. So, yeah.
I do see the stuff like on Instagram and like Twitter. So like I kind of know what's going on, but I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, true. And if I want to see something, I'll be like, all right, I'll watch on YouTube. There's no way I'm watching on TV.
All Flair said was the women are better than the men right now.
Who said that?
Flair said the women are doing better than the men.
Anything else?
How was the Flair show? Share it with the people.
Yeah, Ric Flair was in Mouth of the South. The fans are stupid. Shocking. He's talking about his son, and some guy talked about it. 80 grams of cocaine. And it's like, just people are stupid. Like there were some stupid questions, but he answered everything. He didn't really give a lot. He actually kind of it felt a little bit shilly in terms of like it was a WWE market event. The things I took away is he gave his retirement check out back to Vince McMahon because he owed him $600,000. He said,
doesn't surprise me, but
someone asked him about the '92 Royal Rumble, and he said, "I just got the script, and that was it." He did not talk about Bret Hart. He did not talk about the NWO.
It's not talking about.
Yeah, he talked about his son.
Brad, he wouldn't talk about him.
You talk about his son?
Yeah, he did, but someone interrupted him. He said that Steamboat and Michaels were the best people he ever worked with.
Interesting.
He said that actually he praised The Rock more than Triple H. He said The Rock has been more of an influence on his life than Triple H was,
which is weird.
What?
That's very strange.
Yeah.
How does like Ric Flair's only been like in things with The Rock, like
out in personal life? He said Hogan, McMahon, and The Rock were like three people that have helped him out some really bad stuff. Although Triple H has, but he praised The Rock a little bit more. He said right now the best three on the roster are Rollins, Styles, and Orton when he wants to.
What do you want?
Like wrestlers in general, or like in-ring wrestlers?
In ring. Yeah. He did not talk about Kenny Omega. He said it.
Did he talk about Reigns?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
No one asked about that. I don't think that was the crowd asked about Roman Reigns, unfortunately, because people would have booed because Roman Reigns. He said that
favorite match.
What's that?
His favorite match?
He said he had he loved his retirement. Yeah, he said Steamboat and Michaels were the best that he worked with. He loved working with Sting.
Okay.
Because it was such an easy match. He put together the Hogan match. Talked about his plane crash. Yeah, it was interesting. I don't think it was like Jim. For those who care about the All Elite Wrestling, he says he doesn't think it's going to work.
No, I don't think so either.
He said they're trying too hard to compete with the WWE, and they don't have a chance.
That's true. Yep.
Kevin Durkan says BLV Gaming Channel. Book it.
We gotta get it. Gotta get it started.
John Cena's hair. Side note. Watched Bumblebee. Pretty good movie. John Cena. Terrible haircut. Get it out, bro. Shave the hair.
Have you guys seen Blockers? He was pretty funny in Blockers.
He was pretty funny.
He's good with the comedy.
Did he have hair at that point?
I think it wasn't at this point.
Because it's like so distracting. It's just like
no, I can't. I think it was just like his normal cut.
It looks fake.
Oh.
And we'll end it off. Dylan, you have something to say?
I was gonna say I'm trying to get this Twitch thing going on, but I'm not gonna say anything just yet.
We'll end it off as Coach says. Woo! Thanks,
Go!
guys, for being here for the NFL Conference Championship picks and preview. I will deliver the previews for the AFC Championship, the NFC Championship. I'll cut them up, and you guys can watch them again if you like. If you missed any of it, that will be posted tomorrow, probably at some point. And for any of you guys that missed the preview, thanks, guys, for being here. From Mitch, Kevole, AC, Dylan, have a good one. Dylan, you have a video coming out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes. 5 keys to the Rams and Saints NFC Championship game.
Anything to plug for Kevole or AC?
I got a podcast coming out tomorrow morning.
I'm just chilling.
AC's chilling. Okay. Thanks, guys. Peace out.
Peace.